You have hundreds of contacts in your phone, but think about who you would actually call in a crisis. That number is much smaller, and there is a biological reason why. This is brain roots.
You probably have hundreds of contacts in your phone, maybe thousands of followers online. But if you think about the people you would actually call in a crisis, the ones whose lives you genuinely track, whose problems you care about, that number is much smaller. For most people, it sits somewhere around 150. That is not a coincidence. That is a limit. In the early 1990s, the British anthropologist Robin Dunbar was studying the relationship between brain size and social group size across different primate species. He noticed something consistent. The larger the neocortex relative to the rest of the brain, the larger the stable social group that species could maintain. When he applied that relationship to humans, the number he got was approximately 150. This became known as Dunbar's number. Here is what it actually means. Dunbar was not saying you can only know 150 people. He was saying you can only maintain stable, meaningful social relationships with approximately 150 people at one time. Meaningful here has a specific definition. These are people whose relationship to you and to each other you track. You know who they are, how they connect to others in your group, what their situation is, and how you stand with them. Maintaining that kind of social knowledge requires ongoing mental effort, and the human brain, it turns out, has a ceiling for how much of that effort it can sustain simultaneously. That ceiling is set by the size of the neocortex, the part of the brain responsible for complex thought, social cognition, and the processing of relationships. Within that ceiling of around 150, Dunbar found layers. The innermost layer is about 5, your closest circle, the people you turn to first, your most intimate relationships. The next layer expands to around 15, close friends and family whose well-being you actively monitor and care about. The next reaches about 50, good friends, people you would invite to a significant life event. And then, the outer layer of around 150, the full stable social group, people you know well enough to trust and cooperate with without needing a formal introduction. Beyond 150, something changes. The relationships start to require external structures to hold together, rules, hierarchies, institutions, formal systems of organization. Without those structures, the group tends to fracture. Dunbar found this number appearing consistently across human history. Hunter-gatherer bands, Neolithic villages, Roman military units. The functional size of communities across cultures and centuries kept clustering around 150. Modern research has added nuance. The number varies somewhat by individual. Some people maintain slightly larger or smaller networks. Personality, culture, and lifestyle all play a role. But the cognitive constraint is real. Social relationships are metabolically expensive. Tracking who people are, what they want, how they relate to each other. This is some of the most demanding work the human brain does. And there is only so much of that work the brain can sustain at once. What this means practically is that most of the people in your phone are not really in your social group. They are contacts, acquaintances, familiar faces, people you know of rather than people you genuinely know. The feeling that your social life is scattered, that you are connected to many but close to few, that is not a modern problem or a personal failure. It is the natural consequence of living in a world that is socially far larger than the brain you are using to navigate it. Your brain was built for a village. It is trying to manage a city. And 150 is roughly where it runs out of room.
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to Brain Roots. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.